Hi everyone, Ryan here from Pools and Positivity. Now my previous Where to Buy video helped many of you find cards earlier this year, but things have changed. New retailers have emerged, some stores have leveled up their service and some stores have completely dropped off. And on top of that, the market is more competitive than ever. In this guide, I'm going to show you trusted online stores, marketplaces, and specialist sites, plus general tips like checking seller reviews before making purchases. Whether you're completing a master set, just starting out, or even looking for those holiday gifts, Christmas is just around the corner, so I want to make sure anyone that might be looking for gifts knows exactly where to look and doesn't get ripped off. If any of those apply to you, then this guide is for you, and I'm just going to jump straight in. We have got a long list of sites to get through, but please stick with me. I'm going to show you everything you need to know and all the best places to look. Now, our first stop is going to be Amazon. Now, Amazon can be an interesting place to look for Pokemon cards, but there is a few tips that you need to know. So most of the time, when you're going to look for new sets of Pokemon cards, you're going to need to request an invite. Basically, what this means is you need to go onto the Amazon official Pokemon store and request an invite for Pokemon products. Amazon don't just openly sell most of the time, they do invites only. So you need to request an invite. If you're lucky enough, you will get an invite from Amazon, which gives you a set amount of time for you to click the link and make a purchase. If you receive an email, then you are guaranteed to make a purchase if you do it within the time frame that they provide. On a side note, you do need to avoid some of the other stuff on Amazon. People do sell bulk and people do sell fake products on there, so try and stick to Amazon's own store. I will show you this on the screen as is probably being shown right now of me clicking around, but just make sure you're on their store. If you find this guide helpful, please drop a like and subscribe. It helps our positive card collecting community grow. Honestly, I just try and do the best I can for all of you. I don't want to see anyone get ripped off. I'm just trying to create a really nice community of like-minded people that actually genuinely enjoy the hobby and like collecting and aren't just in it for money. I'm trying to foster and create a community to make the Pokemon hobby better. I hope you can all join me on this journey and be part of a positive change. Right, next we're going to look at Argos. Now, Argos can be hit and miss. I have noticed that Argos can be good at some times and bad at other times. If you do watch some of my videos or some of my pack opening content, then you'll know that I get some of my stuff or have been more lucky recently on Argos. Generally, as a rule of thumb, it's hard to get product anywhere online and Argos is right up there. But if you look out on release day, then you are in with a chance of getting something. So what I've done has been my trick to get stuff on Argos is on release day, they add the products to the site before they actually go live. So you can see the product on the site before it's available for purchase. Normally, these products become purchasable at 8 o'clock in the morning. So what I will do is hover around probably about 10 minutes before that time with the page open of the product that I want. Or even actually what I will do is I will put all the products, if there's multiple, I will put them in my wish list and I will navigate to my wish list. And then when those products become available, just because I'm refreshing and finding out when they become available, I will add all of my products in my wish list into my cart and check out immediately. One thing I have noticed, a little side note, Argos have actually been doing stuff in store only, at least in my area, where they're holding stuff back and not putting it online. You have to go into store and they've got it, which is a bit of a new thing. I don't know if they just do that for Pokemon or for other stuff as well, but might be worth checking in store as well. The next one that has always been a good one. Now, if you followed my Where to Buy Pokemon cards on the high street tours, you'll know that ASDA was actually a big hit. ASDA does have some stuff online as well. Now, ASDA have two stores. They have obviously George, and then they have like their proper ASDA store. George wasn't very successful, but their actual store seemed to have a few products, although badly labeled. This is where looking at the reviews can come into their own, because they do sell Checklane blisters and things like that, but they don't tell you what packs they are, so it can be very hit and miss what you're getting, and people have said that they are being misled or it's misleading how they're labeling this stuff. But there is stuff on there. You can get tins, Pokeball tins and other stuff like that. Next, we're looking at Game. Now, Game and a couple of other stores are linked. So if you didn't know, Game, Sports Direct and House of Fraser are all owned by, I think it's the Fraser Group, I think it's called. So what you're going to find on Game, you'll probably find on Sports Direct and you're going to find on House of Fraser. So if you check one site, check the other, they're more or less the same. You can get stuff on there. I have had luck on there in the past getting Prismatic Evolutions and things like that, although that is before, although it was during a period of hype, it was before the real hype started. Now it's a lot harder. Again, it's hit and miss. You have to check so often. You might get lucky and find something on there, you might not, but check Game, Sports Direct, and House of Fraser. Actually, one thing I will say, they do charge a lot of postage, which is something to note. Something I covered in my last one, the next store I was going to look at is H&V. Now, I looked on here and they didn't seem to have any Pokemon products. In the past, H&V have been quite good and they have loads of products labeled and all on there, and you can do pre-orders and you're able to check for emails, for when stock alerts, for when things come back into stock. However, it looks like H&V have completely removed all Pokemon products from their online store. So that's a bit of a no-go. Although I do believe they still stock them in store. At least that's what they tell me, but I've never ever seen anything in HMV. The next one we're going to look at is Hamleys. Hamleys is an interesting one. Hamleys have stuff sporadically, so just check on there now and again. You might get lucky, you might not. Not much more to say about them. The next one I looked at was an interesting one. I went on to Ryman's. So Ryman's is very similar to WH Smyths, or T.G. Jones, I think it's now called. So they're both like stationary kind of, you know, they have post offices and whatever inside them, blah, blah, blah. They're very similar. Now, I actually was quite surprised. So hidden away on Ryman's was actually the Pokemon holiday calendar. This is how, like, knowing where to look or just sifting through all this stuff now and again, you can find a little bit of treasure now and again when you're looking for Pokemon cards. So they had this year's holiday calendars on there. So that might be worth looking into, but it's all just hit and miss. You just have to go on there at the right time. When things get stocked on all of these stores, everyone that I'm telling you, all of these stores I'm telling you, they do have Pokemon products. You just have to get on there at the right time because they go in and out of stock so quickly. Next one is John Lewis. John Lewis is almost impossible to get products on. They do have Pokemon products quite often. However, John Lewis is so heavily botted that the second that they put their products online, they go out of stock instantly. There is no controls, no like bot protection, no like any kind of filters or anything. They seems like they just don't care. They just want a quick payout. The instant that they list stuff, it goes. I haven't ever managed to get anything on there, but they do sell Pokemon. The next one is an interesting one. The next one is Smyths. Now, Smyths Toys Superstore do show all of their products online. You can't purchase them online. You cannot purchase them online, but you can see them online. So they will show you all the stock levels of all the Pokemon products that they have, and they will tell you all new releases that are coming out or any stock that they're going to get when it's expected in store. All that information is stored online and you can sift through it on their website. It does mean that you then have to go to store on that day, or if it's in stock now, you can go out and get it. All of their stock levels are accurate and up to date all the time, so you shouldn't have an issue. But Smyths are a really good one, so yeah, make sure you check out Smyths. Next one is WH Smyths. Again, I looked on there for Pokemon cards. I've never actually seen Pokemon cards on there, but they do stock them in store, so I thought it was worth checking. Maybe check, but you're probably not going to find anything on there. The next one is a very, very, very big one. So we have got the Pokémon Center. Now, I have done a couple of separate guides on this. I did a quick guide on how to find out where you are in a queue on the Pokémon Center, because Pokémon Center, if you don't know, they do drops. Stuff isn't really available on there all the time because it's kind of exclusive stuff, or especially their Elite Trainer boxes are Pokémon Center exclusive and they have Pokémon Center stamps and stuff like that. For those of you that don't know, beginners or those looking for gifts, it's very difficult to get stuff on the Pokémon Center website. So basically what will happen is Pokémon Center will do a drop and they'll put a queue up on their website at the time they do a drop, and you enter that queue and then you have to wait to get through the queue to get onto their website, and then you're able to make a purchase. But you have to know when that's going to happen. I do ping on my Discord when Pokémon Center has a queue, and it's not very often. It's normally on a Tuesday. So if you're interested and you don't want to miss out, then you can join my Discord. There is other places, but I will get to them later. They're like all the main stores and really like reliable main high street stores that also sell online. I think they're probably your best bet for safety, but there's loads of other ones we're going to get into that are just as good. Which online store have you had the best experience with? Let me know in the comments. Let me know where you've got lucky. Let me know where you've had no luck. Your feedback also helps others decide where to shop. Maybe these next stores might err on the side of a bit higher prices, whereas all the ones I've told you so far do sell for retail price, which is what we want. We don't want to be buying for scalper prices or above RRP, so make sure we're getting a good price for what we're buying. So next we're going to move into those individual stores. So in the next I looked at PokeRand. Now this is where you're going to go onto a site that is very Pokemon specific. He seems to sell more Japanese cards now, or Japanese boxes if you're looking for a sealed product. They are a little bit pricey. RRP, and they also sell singles on there. So if you're looking for singles or even graded cards, if you don't know, PokeRand is linked to Ace grading, so there's a lot of Ace graded cards on there that you can look for purchase. Next, I'm going to go through two really big ones next. So the next one you're going to want to look at is Magic Madhouse. Now, Magic Madhouse is one of those ones where on release day they do sell stuff at RRP, but a lot of their other stock on their website is above RRP or closer to market price. So be careful what you're buying. Just look at the prices of stuff, but they do have a lot of stuff in stock. If you are looking at something a bit more niche or something a bit older, they do have a lot of other products available, but just beware you're going to be paying more. But they are a trusted online Pokemon seller. The next one that's going to be very similar to them is going to be Chaos Cards. Again, Chaos Cards do drops. Along with Magic Madhouse, they both do pre-orders on new sets that are coming out, and you are able to sign up for alerts for those products. And if you get lucky and you get selected, you will be able to make a pre-order for a purchase of those new items. Again, these do seem to be sold at RRP, but if you're looking at other stuff on their site or older sets or stuff that's sort of out of print, they do have higher prices on their site. So just be aware again of what you're paying for, but they do have lots of stuff on there. I like Chaos Cards personally. I've got lucky with some of their stuff in the past, and they've always been really reliable at delivering, and yeah, they're a good shout. Again, this is going to be a lot the same, but then we've got Titan Cards, which is another online store. They're quite good for singles. If you're looking for singles, they do sell sealed products as well, but it's another one of those, like almost like what you'd see like a specialized Pokemon game store or TCG store, but just like an online version of that. And then we're going to move into Total Cards now. Total Cards I am not sure about. Some people rave about Total Cards. I do not. Total Cards sell for so much money, way over RRP, and there's a lot of dodgy practices that go on to Total Cards. I don't know why everyone is so obsessed with Total Cards. Most recent drop they did for the most recent set that came out, Mega Evolutions and Phantasmal Flames, they seemed to do a RRP sale, which was good, but it was for people that had only previously bought products on there. I think in the last 3 months, you got first priority for buying stuff, which is a good idea until it's not a good idea. I've heard some dodgy things about Total Cards, like holding back part of their stock allocation to sell at a later date at market price, saying that they've run out of stock when they haven't, when they're holding stuff back. And they do sell at a much higher price sometimes with singles and things like that. So just beware of Total Cards, but their range of products and the stuff that they do offer is kind of unmatched online. So it's a bit hit and miss, but just be careful again with your budget. I don't want anyone getting scammed. I don't want anyone getting ripped off, and they display themselves really well, so it's very easy to get sucked into what they're doing. It's like when Black Bolt and White Flare came out, they were selling singles even though singles weren't available, so they were ripping products like poster collections and whatever else, taking all the other bits out and just selling the packs, but they were selling the packs for stupid prices like £7-8 when they shouldn't be that much money. So that is worth bearing in mind. Anyways, then we're going to go on to Coasties Collectibles. They're another online store similar to the other ones that we've just spoken about. Then we've got Jurassic Cards. That's another one. These are all very similar online TCG stores. Then we've got Jet Cards. Now, Jet Cards has some stuff available. It's all about just sifting through all these. Some of them will have some stock available. Some of them won't. As you go from one to the other, they might have stuff at slightly different prices. That some people might have stuff in stock. Some people might not have stuff in stock. Everyone gets stuff at different times depending on their distributors. So it really just depends, but it's really hit and miss and you just got to get lucky. Then we're looking at CardMarket is another one that's exactly the same as that. Wayland Games is another one, so check out them. You might get something, you might not. I noticed on a couple of these sites, I know Belly Bolt boxes were appearing, which seem to be not as desirable, but I can't imagine they'll last too long. They've got Journey Together packs in and other stuff like that. Then we've got Deck Market, which is another one exactly the same as the others. And then we've got AJ Toys. Again, on all of these, just make sure that you're checking that you're buying at close to RRP and not getting ripped off paying scalper or market price. Then an interesting one is JD Williams, because I know they're a clothes store, but they do actually sell Pokemon cards. Now and again, they will have stock come in that goes on there. Again, it's going to get botted, but you might get lucky. Who knows? So it's just worth having a little check. Another big one actually that I've had some luck with recently is Very. So Very quite often stock Pokemon and quite often have stuff in stock for a little while. I've bought some ETBs on there. I bought a Paradox Rift ETB on there not too long ago and a Temporal Forces ETB on there not too long ago. They also had booster boxes and stuff and holiday calendars and other stuff that are in stock for quite a while when you were able to purchase. They have also seem to have quite a lot of stocks of 151 and Prismatic Evolutions, but again, they get botted as soon as they go up for sale. They're gone within like a second. you have to get incredibly lucky. The online, honestly, online is just a joke, to be honest. But hopefully in this guide, I'm giving you everything you need to know where to look to give yourself the best chance. Another online store that I looked at was similar to the other TCG stores online, which is Alchemist Workshop. I kind of like their website. I wasn't too familiar with them, but they seem quite good. So they offer stuff online, but it is strict, one per person, one per household, one per family type job, and they seem to be quite strict on that, and I like that policy, and it looks like they sell at RRP as well. So if you do get something on there, then you know you're not going to get ripped off. They seem to have a good reputation, so check them out 100%. And the only other one that I've got on my list, which is a bit of a random one, but Miniso, I think that's how you pronounce it. Now, they have had Pokemon products now and again online. I'm not too familiar with exactly what Miniso is. I've never really used the website, but they have stocked Pokemon cards sporadically on there as well. Now, I know it's going to take some time because there's a lot of websites there to sift through, but I hope I've given you a collection. All of these are reliable and you can trust them, all of them. And then we'll go into something a little bit different now, which is if you're looking for Japanese cards. So Japanese cards tend to be a little bit cheaper, depending on if you're collecting or you're new to the hobby, or if you're buying a gift. It can be a good alternative to get exactly the same artworks, same cards, but in Japanese. Japan to UK is a really good site. Now, they sell a lot of Japanese products, and as I said, Japanese tends to be a lot cheaper than buying in English. So if you're working on a budget, maybe consider buying something like that. But they're a very good site. I recommend Japan to UK if you're looking for that kind of stuff. The final two recommendations I'm going to have for you are going to be eBay and CardMarket. Now, eBay is a really good place to buy secondhand singles or to buy a sealed product, but you're going to be looking at scalper prices, so maybe avoid the sealed stuff. But it is a really good place to buy bundles of stuff. If you've got a kid and they just want their first cards, maybe get a bundle of like a couple hundred cards. You get a variable amount of like holos, reverse holos, and that kind of stuff, even up to like bulks of like 1,000 or just general bulk stuff. There's all sorts of variety on eBay, and it can be trusted. They have seller protection and stuff like that, so you will be safe buying on eBay. Then we'll look at CardMarket. CardMarket's really good for buying singles and sometimes sealed stuff as well, but you will get the best prices for singles on CardMarket. You just need to know how to use it. I have a really good guide on how to use CardMarket, so definitely check that out. I'll leave a link in the description. Yeah, CardMarket, definitely worth a look. And yeah, that's everything. I have nothing more to say. Like I said, you're going to have to sift through all this stuff. It is really hit and miss. Stuff comes in and out of stock all the time on all of these sites, and it's very hard in this environment that we're in at the moment to fight against the bots. Unfortunately, the case is that scalpers are so rife in the hobby, and they have literally got systems that cost thousands of pounds set up with botting that allows them to make purchases, just buy out everything. That's why I think it's really important that more stores and more online stores should have better security and limit purchases to one each, which hasn't been the case a lot of the time. Is a minefield. This brings me into my next point. How do you go about knowing when things come into stock on different stores? Well, I should suggest only one thing I can suggest to you, really. Just keep looking or join a Discord. Really, I try to ping, and I have a lot of members in my Discord that ping when stuff comes into stock, and then you can check it out as it comes into stock that way. I always do pings for the Pokémon Center because those are really big drops, so you get into a queue there and hopefully get something. Another Discord group I would highly recommend is OakLabs. Now, OakLabs is just a free Discord service, and they ping for every single store that I have mentioned today, and they ping for online and they ping for high street stuff. Now, you can customize what you want them to ping you for and not, so you can select if you're picking certain sets that you want to collect. So I can go on there and select specifically if I want to be pinged for Destined Rivals, and every time a Destined Rivals set comes into stock at some online store, then it will ping me for that. I have it set to most of the newer sets, and it will also ping for the Pokémon Center releases, so definitely check them out. It's worth being in one of those groups. It shouldn't be needed. It really shouldn't be needed. Yeah, it really shouldn't be needed. It should be easy to get stuff online, but like I said, it's just a big fight most of the time. Looking for more tips? I also have a guide on where to find Pokemon cards in the high street. Pokemon cards in a high street is much easier to come across than trying to sift through stuff online, although it's not easy by any means. But definitely check out that guide if you're looking for some more help. If you're looking for collector's tips, I do have collector's guides, beginner's guides, and all sorts of other stuff on the channel, so please check all that stuff out. If you know someone else that's struggling, then please share this guide with them, and let's just all do our best to help each other. And that's it. All I've got left to say is thank you for watching. I hope this guide helped in some way or other. I really want you all just to be able to get something online, and that goes, like I said, going into Christmas. I know a lot of people might just be looking for gifts that aren't really involved in the hobby, and it can be so difficult, and everyone that's collecting, just buying stuff online is so hard at the moment. So thank you all for watching, and I hope I've helped. And apart from that, all I would ask you is please leave a like, a comment maybe for any store that I might have missed, and then a subscription would be absolutely amazing if you could help me along with those things. I do also offer memberships if you want to become a member of the channel to help support me more and help me grow and help me to be able to do more videos like this. But that is entirely up to you. Just thank you all so much for all of your support so far on the channel. Like, comment, subscribe. Best of luck to you all, and I will see you all soon.